And now that we have talked about the liver, we come to the very important gland, the pancreas. The pancreas is a leaf-shaped gland lying in the gap between the duodenum and the stomach. तो stomach और duodenum का जो ये gap है, उसके अंदर आपका leaf-shaped pancreas होता है. The pancreas is a mixed gland, which is also called as a heterocrine gland. What do you mean by this, sir? It is both exocrine and endocrine in function. Exocrine, it produces enzymes, and endocrine, it produces hormones. And enzymes produced by the pancreas go into ducts, and these ducts open into a large duct which is called as the pancreatic duct, which we have just done. Pancreatic duct along with the hepatic duct forms the hepatopancreatic duct, which opens in the duodenum, and pancreatic enzymes enter into the duodenum. And then you have hormones produced by endocrine cells. You all have heard of it, insulin and glucagon. School में किया था ये. We'll talk in more detail. These hormones go directly into blood, and by blood, insulin and glucagon are carried to the different parts of the human body and exert their functions. So, in short, pancreas gives out enzymes, so it is exocrine. It gives out hormones, so it is endocrine. It's a mixed gland. It's a heterocrine gland. Sir, what exactly does the histology of the pancreas show? तो समझो ये आपका pancreas है, and we take a cut section of the pancreas. हमने उसका cut section लिया, and now we put this pancreas under the microscope. What will the pancreas show? The pancreas shows the peripheral part is exocrine. जो पेरिफेरल पार्ट है वो एक्सोक्राइन होता है, और जो इंटरनल पार्ट है वो एंडोक्राइन होता है. The peripheral part is exocrine, the internal part is endocrine. The exocrine part is made up of pancreatic lobules which are called as acini. तो ये pancreatic lobules है, and these lobules are called as acini. And acini have in them pyramid-shaped cells. And these pyramid-shaped cells give out pancreatic enzymes. And these pancreatic enzymes go into a central lumen. बीच में एक lumen होता है, and all the pancreatic enzymes enter into the central lumen, and via the lumen, the pancreatic enzymes enter into a duct called as the pancreatic duct, which then opens into the duodenum along with the hepatic duct. And those enzymes are collectively called as pancreatic juice. And pancreatic juice is alkaline in nature with a pH of 8.8. If you remember, the duodenum has in it Brunner's gland, which makes it alkaline. Bile makes it alkaline. And pancreatic juice is highly alkaline with a pH of 8.8, and that makes the duodenum also highly alkaline, and collectively mucus secreted by Brunner's gland, bile and pancreatic juice will make the pH of the duodenum alkaline, which is required for activating all the enzymes in the duodenum, and that will help in digestion to take place. times. About 1 liter of pancreatic juice is secreted each day. एक दिन में 1 लीटर pancreatic juice secrete होता है, quite a significant amount. And then we have the endocrine part, which is made of groups of cells present in the connective tissue between the acini, which are called islets of Langerhans. तो ये endocrine component है, ये आपका exocrine part था, ये आपका endocrine part है, और इसके अंदर छोटे छोटे islets होते हैं, which are called as islets of Langerhans. You have about 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans, and these islets have in them 3 types of cells, namely A cells or alpha cells, which secrete glucagon, B cells or beta cells, which secrete insulin, and D cells or delta cells, which secrete a hormone called as somatostatin. ध्यान से, A or alpha cells secrete glucagon, B or beta cells secrete insulin, and D or delta cells secrete somatostatin. What do you mean by these, sir? Sir, ये आपके islets है and ये आपके blood vessels है. So you have alpha cells giving out glucagon, beta cells giving insulin, and delta cells giving somatostatin. And these enzymes, these hormones go directly into blood. And what will they do? Sir, suppose you have just eaten a very high carbohydrate-rich diet. If you remember, salivary amylase will break down starch. And then we have intestine ke andar other enzymes, again maltase, which will help in breakdown of maltose. We'll come to that very soon. And starch gets converted into glucose, which then gets absorbed from the intestine and goes into blood, and your blood glucose levels will increase. And as soon as the blood glucose level increases, that is called as hyperglycemia. And hyperglycemia ho jata hai, sugar levels become high. Now immediately the beta cells will give out insulin, and insulin will go into blood, and via blood insulin will act on your liver. And if you remember, liver, as a matter of fact, muscle cells also now become permeable to glucose, and glucose goes into liver cells, hepatocytes, and muscle cells, and insulin increases the permeability of hepatocytes and muscle cells. Usme glucose chala jata hai, and glucose gets converted into glycogen, which we remember is then used for rather as a storage of sugar, and it is used during emergencies like starvation. So when you are hyperglycemic, insulin will convert glucose into glycogen. Now vice versa, if you have not eaten for a long time, then your blood sugar levels will decrease, which is a condition called as hypoglycemia. And we remember, your brain requires a lot of glucose. 20% of your glucose supply is used by your brain alone. And as soon as you are hypoglycemic, आपको चक्कर आने लगते हैं, double vision होने लगता है, diplopia कहते हैं उसे, blurry vision होता है, and you are hypoglycemic, immediately your alpha cells will start secreting glucagon. And glucagon will act on your liver and your muscle cells and convert complex glycogen back into glucose, and your blood glucose levels will increase, and your brain and your body cells will get enough sugar for their ATP synthesis. So, sir, when you have eaten food, when you are having high sugar levels, when you are hyperglycemic, insulin is produced by your beta cells, and insulin will convert glucose into glycogen. This is called as glycogenesis. याद रखना ये important word है, इसे कहते हैं glycogenesis. Genesis, making of glucose, rather making of glycogen from glucose. And when you're not eating anything, when you are hypoglycemic, your blood sugar levels will decrease, your alpha cells will give out glucagon. And as alpha cells give out glucagon, it will act on your liver cells and your muscle cells and convert glycogen into glucose, which is called as glycogenolysis. Glycogenolysis. Lysis, breakdown of glycogen into glucose. So breakdown of glycogen into glucose, called as glycogenolysis, is done with the help of glucagon, and your blood sugar levels will increase. Sir, of course you've heard of it. Sir, if somebody is having deficiency of insulin synthesis, beta cells agar insulin nahi bana rahe hai, then you eat high sugar diet and your blood sugar levels will increase. You have hyperglycemia, and now there is no insulin produced by your beta cells, means glucose cannot get converted into glycogen in your muscles and your liver cells, and you are having hyperglycemia, elevated blood sugar levels, which we all remember is a condition called as diabetes mellitus. And this is a horrible metabolic disorder to have. One day I will teach you in tremendous detail all the side effects of diabetes mellitus. कहने को आसान है, किसी का blood sugar level high है, but it affects every single organ of the body. Eyes, retina damage होती है, kidneys damage होती है, liver damage होता है, brain damage होता है, and will have major metabolic effects. I'll teach you in tremendous detail about diabetes mellitus, deficiency of insulin leading to hyperglycemia. And then you have a hormone called as somatostatin given by delta cells. Sir, अगर आपका blood sugar level high है, which is called hyperglycemia, then it will start secreting insulin, help in the release of insulin. If you're having low blood sugar, which is hypoglycemia, then it will help in the release of glucagon. And if you're having normal blood sugar level, or normal blood sugar level, if you've heard of it, between 80 to 120 milligrams per deciliter, blood test karte hai, which is normal sugar level, which is called euglycemia. अगर euglycemia है, तो आपको neither insulin की जरूरत है, न glucagon की जरूरत है. When you are euglycemic, then your delta cells will give out somatostatin, and somatostatin will act on beta cells and stop producing insulin. So insulin production कम हो जाता है, and it will also act on alpha cells, this was beta cells, and also on alpha cells, which will stop producing glucagon. So glucagon production also becomes reduced, and neither will you have hyperglycemia nor you will have hypoglycemia. You will remain in a state of euglycemia, which is normal blood sugar levels. So these are the hormones. You don't have this in detail in your syllabus. We have just gone into it for understanding because we require to know about this when we study diabetes mellitus. So I hope you all have understood this. Take care. See ya.